All right, welcome. In the next few minutes, you're going to get a powerful new framework for cutting through all the noise and finding real executive clarity. Think of this as your strategic briefing on something called the new note. Let's dive in. First things first, let's just acknowledge the core challenge of being a leader today. The environment you're in, it actually works against the one thing you need more than anything else: clear, unencumbered thinking. So pause for a second and really think about that question. This isn't meant to be an accusation, not at all. It's more of a diagnosis of the world you operate in every single day. An environment that's just saturated with things that make original thought feel like a total luxury. I mean, just consider your calendar. For most of us, it's a relentless, back-to-back series of commitments and meetings. And every single one of them chips away at that unscheduled, quiet time you need for deep, strategic work. And then, of course, there's the data. You are absolutely flooded with dashboards, reports, analytics, you name it, and it's all supposed to empower you. But let's be honest, it often just leads to analysis paralysis. It buries the simple, core truths you actually need to act on. And maybe the most subtle, the most insidious constraint of all is the sheer weight of how we've always done it. Past successes, established processes, they create these invisible guardrails that can really stifle genuine innovation and just keep you on a path of tiny incremental changes instead of exponential ones. So the big question is, how do you break free from all of that? Well, the answer lies in a really simple but honestly profound principle for deliberately resetting your entire perspective. At its very heart, the most powerful strategic tool you have is the deliberate act of starting completely fresh. Just imagine opening a brand new, totally empty document. That's the mindset we're talking about here. It's the mindset of pure potential. And look, this isn't about some new app or technology. It's a mental model for getting to a state of absolute focus. The key words here are intentionally discarding. It's an active practice, a choice to set aside what you think you know so you can finally see what you could know. We really have to reframe how we look at that blank page. It's not some scary void to be feared. It's the ultimate strategic landscape. It's an opportunity to build something new without all the baggage of the past. Okay, so that's the big idea. Now, let's turn this into a practical framework that you can start using immediately. This simple 3-step drill is how you turn the principle into real action. First up, state the core question. You have to get brutally honest and define the single, fundamental problem you are really trying to solve. Strip away everything else. Second, erase all assumptions. Now, this is the hardest step, but it is absolutely crucial. Imagine you know nothing about the budget, the history, or the so-called rules. What would you do then? And third, define one action. Take all that newfound clarity and channel it into a single decisive action to get started. I'm not talking about a 10-point plan here, just the one move that creates immediate momentum. So what does this actually look like in practice? How does a simple framework like this apply to your most complex and high-stakes challenges? Just look at the contrast here. The mindset completely shifts from what can we tweak to what should we actually build? The process moves from being driven by committee to being driven by first principles and being decisive. And the outcome? Well, it's the difference between marginal improvement and the real potential for a genuine breakthrough. And don't think for a second that this is some niche tool. The NewNote approach is a universal solvent for those really high-stakes leadership challenges. Everything from reevaluating your entire annual strategy to finally solving a persistent cultural issue. So we've explored the problem, the principle, and the application. Now, let's turn to your call to action. This is the most critical takeaway. You don't wait for clarity to just arrive. You have to create it. The NewNote is not a passive exercise. It is an active, strategic choice to carve out the space you need for real thinking. So, I'll leave you with this question. Consider this your call to action. Look at all your challenges, your projects, your team. What is the one area where wiping the slate clean, starting a new note, will have the greatest impact? That right there, that is where you begin.